I called your fucking mom up. She a foodoo. Sorry. Ah, shoot. I called your fucking mom up. She a foodie. I called your mom up. She a foodoo. I called your mom up. She a foodie. Sorry. Let's get into this video.
I'm feeling a little bit useless lately, but then I saw this tweet. Why is all this blatant Epstein stuff not the front page of every newspaper right now? Why do I feel like I'm indulging in an unfounded conspiracy theory when I mention docs literally published by the DHS? Why do I feel like a bystander on the street wouldn't have even heard about it? We've got evidence of a billionaire pedophile cabal. Why do I feel like some people are just like...
First of all, guys, let me tell you straight honest facts right now. Anything that they release, especially since this was released by what, the DOJ? The defense, whatever of justice? Listen, anything that they're doing here, they're doing some other bullshit here, okay? So in my personal opinion, and allegedly, they released the Epstein files so then we would be distracted whilst they go to war with Iran. Just a ting, okay? Let's get into the video.
Yeah, well, business as usual. Why? And I saw that tweet and I was like, oh, tap me in. I think I can help answer. Just a little bit. All right, to answer this, let me start with a question. When you think about the world, the wider world, news, injustices, various issues that we all must tackle as a globe, do you ever find yourself wondering if it's all bullshit? How often do you approach media with suspicion? Is this paid for? Is this...
All the time, bro. But this is what I'm telling you that I've told everybody who watches my stream is pay attention to the narrative. Pay attention to what they tell you. The only reason why the Epstein files were released is because of hubris. They were so arrogant in thinking that this would never come out that eventually it came out. And all this performative stuff that's happening with Bill Clinton on trial, all BS. It's all BS. Be careful of the narrative. Be careful of the story that they fabricate and they sell to you, telling you this is what it is. Do your own due diligence. Do your own research, okay? Allegedly, in my opinion.
AI? Is this manufactured outrage? Is it propaganda? A distraction? A total fabrication? Basically, do you ever find yourself doubting your ability to know anything? So when it comes to our epistemological bases, what we know, how we know stuff, a little bit of doubt is healthy. It's pretty good, actually. Questioning your own beliefs gets you to throw out some bad ones that no longer serve you. It gets you to ask constantly what evidence would change my mind and get better ideas. And through this process, you find yourself with a better worldview. But what happens when there is too much doubt? When people experience too much doubt, when it comes to knowledge, when it comes to knowing stuff, they usually don't participate. Common reactions include cynicism, like just deciding that the truth is inherently unknowable, tapping out completely, being like, oh man, I just can't, and silence and compliance. Just not knowing enough to know if you should be angry or if your dissent would even help. Cynical, uninformed, and silent. This is like the basis for a passive, obedient citizenry. And turns out there is a...
Yeah, and the majority of everybody is under that sort of, what we can call it, some sort of dormant state. They live in this dormant state because of information overload. When there's too many choices, you suffer from choice paralysis. Too much content, you suffer from feeling sick. Have you guys been on Instagram lately? The app makes me sick. Makes my stomach churn in anger.
A propaganda technique that gets you all of these things. It's called flooding the zone.
Your study of propaganda is important not only to you, but to me and to the world.
Welcome to Propaganda Academy.
There is a propaganda technique called flooding the zone. Sometimes it's called the fire hose of falsehood. It's also sometimes called gish galloping or spreading, but here's how it works. Let's say you're a power-hungry...
Excuse me?
...politician. All you want is money, power, status, and I don't know, to be feared or whatever. You are like a balloon, a helium balloon, just set to rise in the current system that we have. But you've also done some really shady stuff in your past, and if that stuff ever came out, you could find your entire life over. Ruined. Yes, you are this rising helium balloon in politics, but you're vulnerable to just a tiny pin. The tiny pin of truth wielded by the journalist who can just pop you and your downfall begins. Using the truth to topple power is a pretty common historical pattern. It tends to excite a populace and make people revolt. 3 examples off the top of my head. You got Martin Luther nailing his criticisms of the church onto its door, more or less starting a gigantic religious schism with the truth. Richard Nixon's unraveling came with Watergate, which was journalists, and Harvey Weinstein, who, to be clear, did it to himself. But the injustices of Harvey Weinstein were only met with actual consequences once people found out. The Me Too movement, basically. So these are all moments when the tiny pin of truth pops the gigantic helium balloon of power. Now, if you have done something pretty bad...
Listen, this is going to be a controversial take, bro. This is going to be controversial. I don't care what anyone says. It's the same thing that's going on with the Diddy files, okay? The Me Too movement, oh my God, right? The Diddy files, right? You were faced with a situation where you said, my moral line and ethics and the things that I want. Essentially, you sat in a room with Satan and Satan said, do bad thing, let me do this to you, and you can have everything you want. Now, if anybody came up to me and said, hey, Seth, we just blasted some nigga's dome over there. I need you to clean up this mess. I don't care if it was Kanye West or anybody that I looked up to. If that was my first day on the job, I'm packing up my things and I'm leaving, okay? Have you ever felt this sense of looming evil when you're dealing with specific people? I've had the opportunity to shake hands with the devil, dude. I will tell you something. When somebody is money hungry, their soul is gone behind their eyes. You can't see shit. So when a nigga says, hey, I'm going to grab you by the poom poom for this roll, and you say, nigga, that's on you.
With regards to the Epstein files, it might be child rape, for example, something really, really horrible.
Aside from that, that's hey, that we won't even touch that.
That just like invokes this primal disgust in so many people. You'd do anything not to have that come out. You'd basically be buyable and threatenable at all times.
Blackmail is such an ugly word. I prefer extortion. The X makes it sound cool.
So in the case of Donald Trump, it'd be something like the rape case against Katie Johnson when she was 13, that she accused Donald Trump of raping her, which, by the way, was public knowledge before any of these releases came out. Just so we're clear. But you would know that there are certain pins that could take you down. Maybe it's a confirmed case, maybe it's a video, maybe it's a murder, whatever it happens to be. Now, one way to insulate yourself from this pin is...
Nigga, Trump, what are you... What? Nigga? All this money and all these baddies and models and you gotta resort to that?
To remove it. Anyone who dares to use the truth against you, you threaten them. Sometimes this takes the form of extreme censorship, and by that I mean literally killing journalists, witnesses, and whistleblowers. Other times it's bribes, other times it's soft power, like discrediting them before they can even get to the microphone, digging up something from their past and just exaggerating it, making sure that that is the first impression that people have of them in the media. But there is a structural problem with these strategies, and that is the needle is still there. The truth is still there. You are always vulnerable. As this rising wannabe Führer, you can still be brought down by the truth. So you come up with another strategy. Instead of getting rid of the needle, you add a haystack. You bury it. You bury it in so much pointless bullshit, just information that nobody needs, some of it good, some of it bad. And this is a specific design, and you just dump it on. You pile it on in order to hide the truth as much as possible. Nobody is going to sift through that, and even if they do sift through that, most people, when they hear it, are just going to assume it's just more bullshit. They're like, man, there's just so much noise out there. Why is this one true? Why is anything true?
Which is the idea of the majority of conspiracy theories, bro. Yes, some of them are true, and some of them is just another. It's a fabricated sort of counter to what the actual truth is. So then you have both people playing both sides, and no one will ever come to an agreement of what actually the truth is. It's propaganda 101, bro.
True.
He said the Democrats don't matter. The real opposition is the media. And the way to deal with them is to flood the zone with... You see there.
This technique, as I mentioned before, is called flooding the zone. Instead of focusing on what you want the message to be, you target the recipients of all messages. You make them doubt anything that has any kind of basis in reality. Things like independent and investigative journalism, things like science, you drown out their noise by creating more noise. And if nobody's getting clear signals, if nobody's agreeing on what reality is, there's no trust. Why do this? Because to some people, trust is a threat.
If I'm trying to predict what Donald Trump is going to do and where he's going to go, I mean, like one rule is look for where there's trust in the world and he will try to destroy it. He's really uncomfortable with trust. And I think there's a logic to it. And the logic to it is he himself is so untrustworthy. And I don't mean that as an insult, it's just true. He lies all the time. He stiffs people on deals, all that. That's the way he thinks you move through the world. Yeah. If we're in a world where we trust each other, he's at a disadvantage. He doesn't belong. But if he eliminates trust between people, he gets the world into a place where he's good at it. None of us trust each other.
Damn. Which allows him to prop up his ideas and propagandas even further. He's not a good businessman. The only thing he's good at selling is himself. And what did he really sell us? Aside from this big show, this big sort of reality soap opera that he's currently running America through. All BS.
Kind of evil, and it also has some really interesting ties to what it makes the general population do. When people are overwhelmed by too much information, when signals of fact and fiction and opinions and alleged statistics all hit one person, they do tap out. A typical response would be disorientation, cynicism, deciding that the truth is just inherently impossible to know. You raise the psychic costs for anybody speaking out because now they don't know if they are parroting misinformation or if they are actually even attacking the right thing, which produces a culture of silence. Your media landscape becomes one not of truth.
Oh, shoot. This nigga's in the corner like that. Like, why are you in the corner like that, bro?
But of uncertainty, which is
We're
pretty
in the
prime
same
ground for
corner
manipulation,
now, you
and you create a
flip.
longing for a simpler time, sort of a lure towards conservatism.
Alright, thank you for getting out of the corner.
But that's not all. You also create a big, beautiful blank slate. You now have the ultimate power to come in and, if you are quite certain, to give people your narrative, your very certain narrative, people who are desperate just to hear somebody who knows what they're talking about. Essentially, you have people out there who are craving a new way to understand the crazy world around them. They are yearning for a narrative. And if you come in with just absolute certainty, like the original definition of con man, the confidence man, if you stand up and unabashedly say, this is what is good, this is what is bad, a lot of people are going to use you as their new yardstick of truth. You essentially capitalize on their fear, on their confusion, and become the new word of God.
Propaganda is to democracy what violence is to a dictatorship.
There's a really interesting paper on this that I recently read that highlights this propaganda technique, flooding the zone, as a key component to a fascist autocracy. That's crazy, right? I mean, you take the most famous fascist autocracy that people know, we'll go Godwin's Law, we'll bring up the Nazis, and the exact same technique can be seen with Goebbels. He saw the mass uncertainty as the ultimate opportunity. Hannah Arendt, I have a lovely little quote from her. In an ever-changing, incomprehensible world, the masses had reached a point where they would, at the same time, believe everything and nothing, think that everything was possible and nothing was true. The totalitarian mass leaders based their propaganda on the correct psychological assumption that, under such conditions, one could make people believe the most fantastic statements one day and trust that if the next day they were given irrefutable proof of their falsehood, they would take refuge in cynicism.
The goy, as Epstein said in the files. The goy will believe anything. The goy are stupid. Push this messaging onto the goy. Good goy, good goy. Good goy, goy. I'm telling you, man, the sheeple of today, they honestly, I'm telling you, their hubris is what this is the files, is their hubris. They're essentially saying, look at all the bad stuff we've done. What are you honestly going to do about it? What are you and I honestly going to do except to read it, to go on the site and read it and look through it and look through the correspondence between these elites? And what are we honestly going to do about it? We can't do anything about it. They're telling us right to our face, we are bad, we are evil, we do what needs to be done, and there's nothing the Goyim can ever do to stop us. And unless we're able to band together, it's the honest truth. It's honestly the truth.
Instead of deserting their leaders who had lied to them, they would protest that they had known all along that the statement was a lie, and would admire the leaders for their superior tactical cleverness. Basically justifying being lied to as 4D chess, baby.
Trump's 3D chess move.
He's actually playing 4D chess.
President Trump's 5D chess.
Drives you mad, doesn't it?
The ideal subject of totalitarian rule is not the convinced Nazi or the convinced communist, but people for whom the distinction between fact and fiction, and the distinction between true and false, no longer exists.
And that is flooding the zone on what it does. It's crazy, right? There are so many more propaganda techniques at play, but when it comes to answering that original tweet, why does it feel like nothing's happening, that nobody cares, or like the truth just isn't working or getting through? There's one more propaganda technique I want to cover. Poisoning the well.
Oh, here we go, boys.
The easiest way to explain poisoning the well is, let's say you and I were about to sit down and watch a movie. You know, we're chilling, we're on the couch.
Excuse me.
We go to watch it, but just before it starts, I turn to you and I say, oh man, I was reading the reviews for this. Apparently this is the worst movie of the year. I don't know if you've seen like all the hate it's getting online, but it's crazy. It's got like a 1-star average.
They're trying to control your thought process before you have your own time to form your opinions. Ladies and gentlemen, poisoning the well.
I think less than. Apparently nobody can act, like the dialogue's all weird and stuff. Anyway, let's watch. It doesn't matter how good the movie is, or even how true anything I've said is, you are going to naturally look for its flaws. And this is poisoning the well. Within one sentence, I have taken you from someone who could have enjoyed the movie to someone who is just going to be suspicious of it. Critical, cynical, primed to just not like it. We'll do 3 examples for the Epstein drop, so we'll do people, the document.
Which is actually similar to what they did with Colin Kaepernick. Remember Colin Kaepernick? The nigga who decided to take a knee? Right. He was essentially the black sheep of the entire BLM movement. He decided, no, I'm going to take a knee. And they used him as a proxy to be able to take down and say, look, if you stand against America as a colored person, this is what you'll get. He's never been allowed back into the NFL to this day. He stood up for the rights and the belief of what was true. And look, they played him like that. So they essentially poisoned the well to tell all the other blacks, don't do what he did. Don't do what he did. Even though in your mind, you know it's not necessarily act of defiance. It's an act of patriotism and black excellence. But they've already poisoned this head. Any of you others try this, you could lose your career and your job. Just like that.
And then the wider narrative itself, which I think is just one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Poisoning the well when it comes to people usually looks like discrediting. If somebody does something that you don't like or something that could topple your message, you make sure that you get to the media first and say, oh, they got mental health issues, or they've got an arrest, or like a weird tattoo that could be a Nazi tattoo, or a bunch of weird stuff on their laptop. Just like saying, you know, this movie sucks, right? You're saying, you know, this person's crazy, right? And then they start talking and you just look for their flaws. The most harrowing example is obviously when you see it with victims, where people say, oh, this is a witch hunt, it's a hoax, they're just doing it for money or attention, you know, that kind of stuff. And when it is a person that you're discrediting, it's pretty straightforward. But it doesn't have to be a person. And here's our second example, poisoning the well when it comes to the document drop. In our example, where you are the billionaire pedophile, and you want to make sure that nobody believes the evidence, it's in your best interest to put out a bunch of fake evidence. Ideally, fake evidence that is way more ludicrous than what you've actually done. A fake document that says that you've eaten 10 babies' brains, something like that. I don't know, some crazy stuff. I imagine we'll see a bunch of this. But essentially, this achieves two goals. So firstly, it poisons the well of the documents. Your super ludicrous, insane fake document amongst all the real ones, once it's debunked, and it should be debunkable, it serves as a question mark on all the real documents. When something does come out that is also beyond the pale of their morality, what they would ever do or what they could even conceive people of doing, they'll also say, well, I mean, that last one was fake. Who's to say this one's real? But then it does something else. Anchoring and normalization. Oh my God. So it anchors people to a crime that is far, far more disgusting than what you've actually done, even though what you've actually done is incredibly disgusting. But by making people think of this first, it defangs the crime. It's like that old saying, if you want a kitten, ask for a horse. Well, if you've killed a kitten, tell people you've killed a horse. In fact, get people to discuss killing horses so much that it becomes normalized in society. Which is where we get to our third example of poisoning the well. And this,
which is why they're showing us all these propaganda images of, you've seen how every movie has become gorier than the last? Every movie has become just worse than the last. I know you could be thinking, oh, this is an example of me poisoning the well. Hold on a second. They want you to be just like them. They want you to be as nasty and as gory just like them. Because these are the things that these people do, the higher ups, the elites, right? So if you're just like them, then when things like this come out, you're not really going to be fazed by it. Because your thought processes and the way you think is similar to how they think. So the worst things are going to get, you're just going to brush it off and say, that's not that shocking. That's not that shocking. What is that? That's nothing. Whereas we all know that as we become more and more desensitized as a society, it's a making of their doing, bro. This is what they want you to be like. They want you to be so desensitized that the worst evil that they could possibly do, you just brush it off.
This is one of the most diabolical things that I think I've ever seen in my life.
Do you think you're the devil himself?
No, but I do have a good mirror.
It's a serious question. Do you think you're the devil himself?
I don't know. Why would you say that?
We now have evidence to suggest something that I've been saying for years, and that is that the culture war was a manufactured psyop. There's evidence to say it's not, of course, but the case for psyop looks like this. In October 2011, Jeffrey Epstein met with 4chan founder Christopher Poole. Moot. 4 days after Epstein met with Moot, the guy who introduced the pair, Boris Nikolic, an advisor to Bill Gates, emailed Epstein. This article describes why I find Moot interesting. The potential for manipulation is huge. The article was about 4chan's ability to launch cyber attacks, manipulate Google search, and fuel a hive mind mentality. Now, the same month that this all goes down, 4chan launches the forum Poll, which became a cesspit for far-right extremists and eventually brought us Pizzagate and QAnon. But why? Why would people involved in a billionaire pedophile cabal spread rumors about a billionaire pedophile cabal? And the answer is because it is the perfect way to poison the well. It means that the first time that most people ever hear about some billionaire pedophile cabal, they're hearing it from whoever in their network has spent the most time in a tinfoil hat. Probably someone who's terminally online, probably someone who's just a little bit nuts. So they associate the story, the billionaire pedophile cabal, with crazy people. Bruh. And meanwhile, this serves all your other goals. It anchors people to crimes that are just slightly more fantastical than what's actually going on. It normalizes talking about billionaire pedophiles, so when the conversation does inevitably shift to reality, people are used to it. It pre-bunks dissent just freaking virtuosically by conflating all dissent, all truth, all investigative journalism with crazy conspiracy theorists. The conspiracy theory, if you ever looked into that, that the label conspiracy theorist was created in order to pre-bunk all dissent for all issues. And then fourthly, my word, does it flood the zone. It's the perfect kindling for rumors and conversations. It's all unverified, but all incredibly scandalous. It's a whodunit. It's a mystery. It's a game. And it's tribal. It generates noise upon noise upon noise. Divisive noise. Oh, wow. It's like, I don't know, Steve Bannon is Nero and the world is Rome on fire. I don't know if that actually happened. Feels like it's probably apocryphal. You know, like one of those historical myths where the truth gets exaggerated here and fictionalized there. Which, I mean, given the subject matter, would actually be extremely appropriate. To compare the Epstein class to Nero, fiddling while the world burns, it's kind of fitting that we find ourselves once again doubting reality. But I'm not sure if it matters.
The same ideology comes to play when you think, oh, was he actually arrested? Did he really perish in the prison? The question is, we don't know. We can't say for sure if he was because we don't know what the truth is anymore. We've been lied to so much at this point that anything they could say or do, you have to just sort of sit back and say to yourself, well, I guess I have to come up with my own opinions on it. Or the best thing to do is to just focus on yourself. Who cares if the next billionaire whatever ring shows up here or a Pizzagate or whatever the thing is that could possibly be happening? Just know that if you found it or read it on the internet, it's probably bullshit. Ladies and gentlemen, live life for yourself. Be selfish, my friend, because everything else is absolute hogwash. Everything is bullshit, essentially. That's, you know, everything is BS. I don't know anything about anything, as I like to always say. It's all BS, man. None of it matters. It's all fugazi poo-poo.
Between.
All right, guys. McDonald's. Some sort of fight between all these American fast food pizza places, bro. It's all just goy. It's all goy slop. It's essentially all just goy
So guys
slop.
and gals, it's official. They're all beefing now. The Wendy's CEO, the Burger King CEO, and the McDonald's CEO are all beefing. Literally. Here we have the Burger King CEO.
Big beef, boys.
Oh yeah. Now that's how you take a bite.
Not bad, right?
Oh yeah, look at the...
Only one thing missing. A napkin.
So this is the type of guy, and Burger King is, in my opinion, in the current age, is way better than McDonald's. And it's a toss-up between Wendy's and
It's all goy slop.
and Burger King, depending on the location you go. But I'd say in general, for consistency, across the board, Burger King, size, depth, pricing, everything. Taste, it's superior, especially with the fries. They're just well-rounded. And the CEO, I mean, just look at the way he bit it. Look at the sauce on his lips. I trust this guy. Even if he doesn't eat this shit on a daily basis, I trust that he actually likes the burger, not the product. The burger. Someone said McDonald's took down their video. Did they? Well, looks like they actually did. I cannot find that recent video anywhere. They did say, take a bite of our new product. So they're leaning into the trolling a little bit. Not even our new burger, our product. Because I guess legally they can't call a product something that is actually not. People in the comment section are saying, can't believe this got approved. It's crazy. Another person said, why did you delete the video with the CEO? I mean, even this image right here, it looks horrible. On Twitter, you can see the burger here. Someone said, why can't you call it a burger? Why do you keep referring to it as a quote unquote product? And then McDonald's responded back by saying, okay, fine. Burger. So I don't really know what kind of marketing strategy they're trying to push here, but it is getting eyeballs on their new product. But now here we have the Wendy's CEO entering the fray.
These fresh, never frozen beef, our Applewood smoked bacon, our brand new bun, our square burger cooked on a...
Bro, all of this is goy. It's all goy slop, bro. It's all goy slop. It's all bullshit, dude. Not like, first of all, McDonald's is 100% beef. That's the name of the company, bro. These are all just LLCs and just shell companies and all BS and marketing foofluff just to make you eat the goy slop. None of it's good. It's not good for you. McDonald's bread doesn't even rot. It's all absolute garbaggio. And we're sitting here talking about, oh, which fast food place has the best burger? Okay. Well, which fast food place has the closest product, closest to what we actually could deem as reality, bro? What happened to eating burgers at a cookout that you made at home on the square bread and you just put the bun there and it didn't really fit, but you ate it because you said, this is real food. What happened to those days, man?
Flat grill, amazing, absolutely wonderful.
Not gonna lie, that burger does look kind of sad and depressed, but let's continue with this review. Hefty bite.
I had a burger.
Okay. He's calling it a burger, by the way.
Exactly.
Ooh, multiple big
great
bites.
hamburger should be.
Oh my God, he's
Top
demolishing
it
that.
off with the fries and frosty.
Oh, fry and fry. You know, I respect the CEO. I mean, good. Listen, I've loved Wendy's since I was a kid. You know, so Wendy's will always have a special place in my heart. I just hate how the quality and the consistency has gone down, especially here in Atlanta. It's garbage. I don't know if it's the specific locations that I get food from. I just, you know, I can't even eat Wendy's anymore. It's garbage. I'd rather just head down to a local mom and pop's diner or a local burger joint instead. People in the comments are also saying he's actually eating it too. He demolished that burger. McDonald's not beating the mystery meat allegations. Someone else said, I want no jump cuts. Somebody should be seen swallowing the food. You even have Buffalo Wild Wings jumping into the fray with saying, we love this product. And I'm not gonna lie, this looks good. This does look highly photoshopped though. In the comment section, someone said, here's what I've got the last time I went. And yeah, I mean, this doesn't look bad. It actually looks like real beef, a real bun. I'm hungry now. Cheese, oh my God, this looks, I might.
Listen, it's looking good. First of all, the hoops and loops and jumps and jump throughs that the food industry has to do when they're doing food photography, man. Oh my goodness, bro. I'm talking food coloring. I'm talking fake things, styrofoam to make things look like it's food. And we just sit here as the goy and just slop it up. Good goy.
Just have to get a burger after this recording. Someone else uploaded this video of their big arch. Oh, look at this guy. Okay. People are saying this is actually a good burger. I don't know, man. This is talking about all this food is making me hungry as hell. But hold up. And if you thought things couldn't get even more ridiculous, A&W, yes, the company responsible for the root beer, I thought they only made soda. Apparently they actually have full-blown restaurants. They jumped into the fray with their review.
Alan from A&W here with, you heard about it, here it is, the Teen Burger.
The Teen Burger. Interesting name.
Bro, the last time I had a Teen Burger, that shit is bland, bro. It's good, but it's bland. Like, I'm talking... The only spice was like salt and just the insipidest bit of pepper. It's probably has to be the blandest thing I've ever put in my mouth. Pause.
We love this burger product, which
still good, but bland.
Most people call a burger. I'm going to do a tasting right now, but this is actually my lunch.
I like how he had to point out that the product is indeed a burger, of which McDonald's, I don't know, I guess for liability reasons would not call it in the video.
Let's see what we got going on here. Look at that. It has a unique bread that some people would call a bun, but really the star is what's inside. I mean, we've got the lettuce, which is green, and pickles, which make it taste pickly.
Yeah, he's definitely.
What is it? Why is he suffering from Alzheimer's, it seems, when he's talking about this burger, bro? What's the deal with that?
Definitely trolling and making fun of the McDonald's CEO. I mean, hey, I don't know how their sales. This is probably the greatest thing to happen to the fact.
I just realized he's dressed like the McDonald's CEO. What's up with y'all niggas with sweaters and never mind.
Fast food industry in a while. CEO.
We're talking about CEOs of a burger joint. You think the niggas got drip?
Those actually coming out, stepping outside of their cold, stark offices and actually trying their food. I gotta say, yeah, more CEOs across all industries, especially in fast food, need to start testing their foods, their quote-unquote products. I think this would boost sales.
The teen sauce, the iconic teen sauce.
Excuse me, nigga?
The Teen Burger with the teen sauce. Yeah, that may need a name change.
So this thing is packed. I'm sorry, that was a little, I don't even know how to attack it. I guess with my mouth. Here we go.
Pause, nigga.
Moment of truth. No, I've quote.
Hey, do we have anybody in the comments who've actually went to an A&W restaurant? Is that, I've never seen one a day in my life before. Is the food actually good? No, I'm willing to, I feel like maybe we should make some content out of this. Oh my.
A&W restaurants are W, bro. They are good. They're really good. The food there is good. The atmosphere is nice. When you sit down, you feel like you're at somewhere that is supposed to be more high end. You feel like you're at an old school, take the diner vibe meets sort of like the family restaurant vibe, and that is the aesthetic of A&W. You feel like you're somewhere where you can sit for a while, you know? Like how McDonald's used to be. Like you used to go and do work there. Now McDonald's is like, You sit down, all the seats are uncomfortable. You feel like, what am I doing here? I gotta leave.
Second channel, I'll go around town, you know, trying different types of fast food joints I've never tried before. Who knows? On the More Relight channel, links down below. I'll link it in the description and the pinned comment section as well. Someone down below said, though, she clears all of these bums. In-N-Out is the greatest burger ever. I've never tried In-N-Out. Apparently, this is the CEO or the owner or the founder. One person said, y'all hype it up way too much. It ain't bad, but come on. Honestly, I have no dog in the fight. I've literally never tried In-N-Out, so I can't say. Someone said, the McDonald's CEO, when he has to actually eat the slop he sells us.
That is so good.
Another person said the CEO of McDonald's knowing the actual ingredients in the secret sauce after taking a bite. Yeah, man. Honestly, McDonald's.
Bro, okay, listen, guys. The majority of these massive conglomerates, right? They don't indulge in their own product because it's for the goy. The goy must eat the slop. The goy must perish. The goy must be addicted to pharmaceuticals. The goy. Oh boy, oh they, the goy. Okay? They feed us garbage, so we become garbage, and then we must consume and take pharmaceutical garbage, and they keep us barely alive so they can extract the most amount of money from us. This is the truth. This is the goy. So when you eat the slop, I don't know why you would go to McDonald's, but hey, if you're ever down bad and you gotta go to enjoy yourself, go. But don't start talking to me about the McCravings, saying, oh, I'm feeling an itch for some McDonald's fries. Yeah, that's because they got you, goy. Good goy. Good goy. Eat the slop. Eat the slop. Good goy.
It's bottom of the barrel food, but if you go to the right location, it'll taste...
Oh, my point actually was, yeah. The big conglomerates don't indulge in their product, whether it's food, whether it's technology, okay? Steve Jobs even said, I don't let my kids use the iPhone because he knows how addictive that is. Zuckerberg, I don't let my kids use Facebook and Instagram because he understands how destructive it is, okay? These billionaires don't even let their kids go to public school or school. They let them go to some weird school where all the kids play outside until they're age 7 because they understand the development of children's brains. School is poison, all right? That's not how you learn. You don't learn by locking children up in a room for 8 hours a day. You ever sit next to a modern day child, bro? They're all about making noise and yelling. Let them play in the park and discover and do stuff like fishing and shooting bow and arrows. Come on, man. Don't fall for the goy.
So good. It's just slop perfectly crafted for the human palate. And of course, the McDonald's CEO had to come back out to try and, repair his image with not only one burger this time, but 2 burgers. And then
you think you would come back out and give the message? You think you'd come back out with someone that was a little bit more drippy, bro? What's up with this outfit, dog?
We have our Chicken Big Mac, which has been on our menu before, and it's coming back to make a reappearance. So we're going to do a little comparison between the two, starting with, of course, the iconic McDonald's Big Mac. So here we go. First, visual appeal is very strong. Looks fantastic.
First of all, what the fuck is that? Look how small that is, bro. When I was a kid, the Big Mac was the size of my fucking head, you footy.
Can't wait to bite into it. The cheese is nice and...
why does he look disgusted? Maybe he's not disgusted, but it's just his face. He has the face of disgust. This is not good.
Tempered.
Okay, bigger bite this time.
Look how he's holding it.
You get a great hit of Big Mac sauce in that.
Excuse me?
I tasted it. I loved it. The beef.
You got grown men talking about hit, talking about I'm a packet. How am I gonna pack? Talking about teen sauce, bro. Excuse me.
Beef notes there. It all works so well together. It may be actually the perfect sandwich. Although chicken's now going to try to give it a run for the money.
So beef notes, he mentions the perfect sandwich. So it's not, is it a sandwich? Is it a burger? Like, what are we talking about here, man? This is not a wine tasting test. He's too pompous, bro. Just eat the burger. Explain how the sauce, the saltiness, the savoriness, the sesame seeds. BP. Bro's out here acting like he's in a perfume fragrance store, whipping up subtle scents and notes off of some $500 bottle of cologne like it's not that serious.
So let's try the Chicken Big Mac and see how it compares. Same build. So you'll recognize we still have the 3 buns, we still have all the lettuce and cheese, and of course the McDonald's Big Mac sauce, but we now have 2 chicken patties. So let's give this a try.
Okay, not a bad bite. All I gotta say is maybe these people should stop hiring the CEO to film. I mean, hire. He pretty much owns the company, right? He runs the company. Maybe they should just hire someone else to film these videos. But then again, he's made the big arch go so viral to now it's piquing my curiosity, So maybe this unintentional cringe.
Don't eat the goy. Don't eat the goy slop. Don't fall for it. It's a trick. This video is a trick. I don't even know why I reacted to it. It's absolutely goyish. Do not fall for it. Be smart, my young American. Be strong. We're all still goy at the end of the day, though. So there's that. I guess we'll never be able to avoid the goy. I guess we're all goy. What's more poppin', McDonald's or Epstein? Eat the goy, goy. What real reason you want fame? The real reason I want fame.
I saw the School of Life quote recently which really struck
I saw the School of Life school recently. Oh, butter chicken.
a chord with me. You know you've had a happy childhood if you don't want to be famous. This got me really thinking that if you've grown up feeling seen, emotionally mirrored, and safe and secure in your identity, then you don't need a million strangers to
If the roti is not rotting, you probably have the problem.
acknowledge your existence. Michael Jackson became the most recognized human being on the planet, and yet spent his adulthood trying to rebuild the childhood he never got to live.
Guys.
Marilyn Monroe was desired by the entire world, and wrote that she felt like a projection and not a person. David Bowie kept creating new identities because being himself.
David Bus. Okay, all right. I apologize, David Bowie. David Bowie. Oh, sorry. Okay, Seth. Let's get into the video. Stop it. Stop that.
Never felt survivable. The unhappy creative child grows up thinking that fame will fix that hole inside of them, but it never seems to do so. This video is not about fame. It's trying to decode why anyone would want to be famous in the first place. It's about that timeline which turns.
Okay, fine. I'll give you my quick synopsis on why people will want to be famous. Usually, it comes from if you want fame, it's usually having to do with something outside of yourself, okay? You have to be secure in yourself here, in your heart of hearts first, which usually makes it so that you don't want fame. Because to jump through the hoops and hurdles of what's going on the outside to achieve fame, you essentially have to accept the bullshit. And if you can't accept the bullshit, then you can't have fame because there's rules to this game, all right? Whether it's the Harvey Weinsteins or it's the P. Diddy's or the Epsteins of the world, there's rules and people will trade the morality for fame. As somebody who does not play those kind of games like me, I don't give a fuck about fame, okay? I do things for the love of the game, which is why sometimes that will take you a longer stretch to achieve what you want to. You can climb the ladder faster if you're willing to get yourself. All right? Let's get back to the video.
A sensitive child into an adult which needs the public gaze to stabilize a sense of rejection which never seems to go away. I've spent my whole life perhaps unsuccessful.
Exactly. You're vapid and empty inside, and so you seek affection and acceptance outside of yourself, but it never ends. You can never achieve something that is outside of you. You have to have it first. You need to be secure in your heart of hearts first. No amount of outside appreciation will fill the void that is in your heart.
Trying to be known and be acknowledged. And in today's video, I'm trying to understand why this feeling exists at all. Chapter 1. When love becomes conditional. We assume that the child who wants fame must have been deeply ambitious from childhood. But weirdly enough, I think nothing could be further from the truth. This child is actually a highly sensitive child. The kind of child who feels everything too deeply, who reads emotional shifts in a room instantly, who connects to music or images or even words in a way that seems physical. Linda Silverman's work on highly creative children shows the same cognitive baselines again and again. Heightened sensitivity, extreme empathy, and early self-awareness. This, in the right environment, becomes a gift. But when this nervous system develops inside an environment where love is conditional and attention is inconsistent, where differences are not understood, but in fact called weird or even mocked, this person's internal wiring starts to get attached to performance. This comes directly from John Bowlby's attachment theory, later expanded through the strange situation studies by Mary Ainsworth. The child learns, I am valued when I do something exceptional. In a performance-based environment, this child starts thinking that they need to be exceptional in order to receive love. You can see this in Stevie Wonder being a child.
Which explains why in sort of African households where you are essentially rewarded for doing well in school and curriculum or at work, which is why they end up, and it's a perfect example from my own life of in school, the only time where there was a sense of appreciation was when I was achieving either good grades or I was doing something that was deemed to be excellent in the classroom. There was this math program and I had spent all this time making sure that I was in the top 5 or whatever. I think it was like the top 10 in the school, right? It was like, I don't know if you guys remember Success Maker, but essentially I made it so like, oh, I'm going early to school to make sure I'm number 1. And it's like, I don't even like math, but I'm doing these things and I'm trying to get these high scores so that I will get the love and affection of my parents. School, something I don't even like, that's like complete BS. It has nothing to do with creativity, but this is the only way you can get the affection of your parents is through performative actions in school. And so everything you start doing becomes performative. Everything you start doing becomes an act of having to prove yourself to the outside, when the only person you should prove yourself to is in your heart.
Child prodigy before he was even a teenager. The applause came before the identity even formed. The world tells you what you are worth based on what you can do. And this is the moment I feel this equation forms quietly and permanently. Who I am equals what I can do and what I can give. And this child starts to grow up with one mission. I will become impossible to overlook. Chapter 2. The outsider and the inner world. There's a phase which arrives relatively early on in highly creative children, which is when they start to realize that their inner world is way more intense than the environment they're in. And this starts to develop into social isolation from an early age. Miraka Gross's research shows that the greater the inner complexity of a child, the harder it becomes for them to find friends or people to relate to in their immediate peer group. Imagine Freddie Mercury growing up as Farrokh Bulsara, culturally displaced and visually and internally a different boy. And that's where he started developing Freddie. When he realized that he as himself didn't fit into the world he belonged in, he started forming an identity which could perhaps move through it. It's a survival and a self-defense mechanism if you think about it. This is the moment where you start editing yourself to fit into an image which you think might be more acceptable on the outside. You try to lower your intensity and hide what you love. You start becoming hyper aware of how you're perceived, and everything that you perceive as a flaw in you starts to become a problem. I think every person who's ever tried to become famous has a deep problem with their own self-image. And this is because their inner worth comes from outer approval. And at this
Yeah, exactly, bro. This is why even to this day I still deal with the idea of hating myself a little bit, bro. I still always have this idea of I'm not a good person and I'm a sort of an evil person, and then I always have to play with those ideas. These ideas of self-isolation that I have, because in my mind I'm always like, I'm a bad person. Why would anybody want to spend any time with me? Why would anybody want to be around me? So let me just sort of self-isolate and focus on achieving great things, because if I do that, then in that way I can be liked. But to be liked for who I am, so I always have that internal monologue and internal battle with myself, and I have to constantly remind myself, no, you're actually a good person, Ceph.
upon a time, your inner and outer timelines and worlds start to separate. Your outer life becomes functional, while your inner world remains real. And everything you build from here on is an attempt to reconnect them. Chapter 3, the I'll show them engine. By the time adolescence hits, this inner feeling of not being seen or understood turns into a kind of propulsion engine. This is where the work ethic, the perfectionism, and the obsessive tendencies we see a lot of famous people possessing start to appear. What looks like hunger and obsession to the outer world is psychologically just compensation for an inner wound which just seems to get bigger. Psychologically, this was explained by Alfred Adler's theory of compensation. When a person fundamentally feels inferior or unseen, they build excellence in another domain to rebuild their self-worth. So the drive may not be I
feel like this nigga's talking to me, dude.
want success. It might just be I refuse to be invisible. Think of Madonna arriving in New York with nothing and refusing to disappear. And her every reinvention and every era, every escalation is that same nervous system trying to stabilize itself through recognition and a refusal to be ignored. While you may fool yourself,
which makes a lot of sense. Look at all the Botox and her wanting to fit into today's modern look. The Botox, the BBL. What kind of 70-year-old woman gets Botox in a BBL, man? That's crazy.
Thinking that you're in the pursuit of greatness. What you're actually attempting to achieve is a sense of inner stability that you might have never known. And it works for a couple of minutes or so. Every milestone gives you relief, and every achievement gives you a temporary sense of existence. But because your sense of internal validation is coming from external metrics, it fades quicker than it arrives. Which is why this phase, I think, never seems to plateau or end. Nothing ever seems to fill that void inside you. And this void has existed for as long as you remember. Chapter 4, the validation addiction. Finally,
that's so true, bro. That's what I always say. I'm like, there's always this looming sense of sadness, man, that exists inside of me, and it probably exists in you too. But I'm just saying, there's been very few moments where I feel like it comes and goes. I feel like he's saying, when I achieve something, some sort of milestone, I feel happy. And then quickly as the happiness came, it goes. Not to say that we should live our lives to be happy, because that in itself also, yes. Chasing happiness is for women and children, okay? But there's this fleeting moment where I achieve something, and then it's like, okay, after 20 minutes, it's gone, and it's like, okay, what's the next mountain we can climb? That means that inside of my heart of hearts is a hole, bro. And I know I should probably go see somebody or talk to somebody about it, but I don't. I can't. I'm so obsessed with this idea of creating ideas and ideologies, so much so to the point where a lot of people will be like, oh, why don't you marry or have children? And it's because I don't believe that I could ever be a good father, because I'm so caught up in these ideas of making artistic projects. And what's the next artistic project? What's the next mountain to climb? I should probably see a therapist.
Enough, if you've done everything correctly, by the time you're an adult, this loop closes and suddenly you have an audience. And psychologically, I think this audience becomes an attachment figure. Jennifer Crocker's work on contingent self-worth shows that when identity is built through external validation, self-esteem becomes unstable and addictive. You're only okay when you are being seen. Kurt Cobain is the clearest example of what happens when recognition arrives but the internal structure doesn't change. He had total visibility and total cultural impact, but his private sense of disconnection got worse the more famous he got. It did not seem to heal, it did not seem to get better. Because fame only rewards your persona, which is the outer shell you've created to interface with the world. But it does nothing to heal the person inside, because that person inside has always felt worthless. The person inside feels that their sense of self-worth comes from metrics, from numbers, from views, from streams, from followers, from money. And this becomes like a drug you're addicted to. And like every drug ever, it creates more damage to your soul than ever fixing it. Each spike in metrics calms your body, and every drop escalates your sense of worthlessness. And this is because you learned early on that attention equals connection. And without attention, you yourself have forgotten who you are. I think fame cannot solve this.
Stop talking to me like this. Stop talking to me like this. You're not my fucking therapist, okay? Gurjeet, you're not. All right? Relax. He's speaking right fucking to me, bro. What can I do? I love this shit, bro. I'm like the nigga from fucking, what's that movie? Paid in Full or whatever the fuck, that New York film. I love the hustle, man. I love the game. I can't get enough, man. When I see the amount of views I have every 24 hours, man, I love that shit, dog. I love that shit. I love making videos and making my shorts and seeing the money pile up in my AdSense revenue, nigga. I love that shit. God damn it.
Attachment wound, which is why some of the most visible people in history have still felt unseen. The only way out of the loop. Sometimes I sit and think, what is the real thing a creative life needs? And I'm not sure the answer that we are seeking lies in the transition from being unknown to becoming famous. I think it's when we shift our sense of self-worth from external to internal validation. Self-determination theory by Deci and Ryan shows that sustainable drive comes from internal and intrinsic meaning rather.
Which is why I always find time to commune with myself, to meditate, and to try to clear the cobwebs of BS that exist in the brain. I have to reaffirm to myself that I'm a good person. I am loved. People like to talk to me. People like being around me. I have to remove this demon of negative self-worth and reevaluate my own self and sit down with myself and tell me, almost, I look at meditation these days as if I'm sitting down in a dark room with myself, like an interrogation room. And I'm talking to myself and letting him know, you're good, you're loved. Just brushing the dust off this little kid's shoulders, brushing the dust out of this little kid's hair, which is me. And I'm telling myself, all this pain, all this hate, all this rejection that you faced as a kid, it's okay. You're going to be okay. Because if I don't, then I fall victim to everything this man is saying, dude, in this video. So I have to constantly reassure the small, young, hurt boy that is in me that everything is going to be all right. And that it's not so bad, you know? He's right. Gurjeet's right in the video.
Than external rewards. And external recognition and internal stability are two completely different systems. And perhaps the real shift here is much simpler and much harder. It's trying to transition from please see me to this is how I see. It's in trying to accept who you are as you are, rather than seeing yourself as a reflection in the eyes of others.
Yeah, final note, which is why when I create now, it's not from the point of, oh, I'm trying to be somebody. I create now because God put us on this earth to create. And I want to fulfill God's message and God's role that he put me here for. He put me here to create abundance. God is an abundant entity. Why would he want his people, especially if he's living through each and every single last one of us, why would he want us to live in fear and hate and lack, right? So I live now to create for God, as opposed to creating for validation. Ladies and gentlemen, xCephasx.
As silly as it sounds, it's in trying to fall in love with the version of you that exists when you want nothing from the outside world. Perhaps at this point of time, your internal nervous system may no longer be dependent on the gaze of the viewer. You're not creating to exist. You create from a place where you already do. So maybe the real question is not whether we want to be famous. The real question might be, what would your work look like if you already felt seen and loved? It's simple, but it may be the only way to fix the hole that exists inside of you and me. If you stayed for so long, thank you so much for watching.
No worries. Footy! Alright, that was good. That was good. You guys, I gotta get some water and we gotta rock a piss. So 1 second. I wanna play something, but I don't know if it's going to get hit with the copyright strike.
It's the American.
Hey, it's the American frontier. Ray. 1 second, guys. Let me get some water. We're still streaming? We're still streaming. Get some water and use the washroom. Footies? Shout out to the stream. Shout out to everybody on the stream, yo. About an hour left. Get back to the stream. Get back to the stream, footies. Gonna put this in the dryer. Everybody wants to talk to me like I'm a foodie. Everybody wants to talk to me because I'm a foodie. Your mom wants to talk to me because I'm a foodie. Your mom wants to talk to me because she likes food. Your mom wants to talk to me because she likes food. Mom wants to talk to me, she likes food. Mom wants to talk to me, she likes food. Mom wants to talk to me, that's why she likes pussies. Mom wants to talk to me, I heard she likes food. She likes foodie. I want to talk to me. I heard she likes food. Tell that doctor he's a fucking foodie. Then call your fucking girl up and tell her she has a nice foodie. Tell that doctor that he's a fucking foodie. Tell my doctor that we need to keep some foodie. Tell that doctor that he's a fucking 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 foodie. Tell that doctor that he's a foodie. Tell that doctor that he's a fucking foodie. Sorry. That's useless, right? Useless to do shit like that. All right, let's get into this next video, gang. If y'all still rocking with me, let's go, you foodies. Tell that doctor that he's a foodie. Tell that doctor that he's a foodie.
Frontier, 1866. White America had just survived a civil war that nearly tore the nation apart. They thought they could control what came next, including 4 million newly freed black people. They were wrong. In July
Free the blacks
of that same year, something unprecedented happened. Congress authorized the creation of the first peacetime all-black army regiments, 6 regiments of armed, disciplined, federally backed black soldiers. But these weren't just any military units. They were about to become one of the most feared and respected fighting forces in American history.
What do y'all think, man? You had all these slaves sitting around, and you had them all chained up and whipped up, pretty much doing DV and destroying them and giving them generational trauma? You don't think they're gonna come back with a vengeance? Come on, man. Stop it. Stop playing.
Men who would earn a name that struck terror into the hearts of races across the frontier. The Plains tribes called them Buffalo Soldiers. Warriors as fierce and unstoppable as the sacred buffalo. What happened next was so extraordinary that white officers would literally quit their commissions rather than command these men. These regiments were led by men like Charles Young and Henry Flipper, and they would accomplish something.
A nigga by the name of Henry Flipper? You know that nigga got clowned so much that he had to become a G, bro. He had no other choice. His name is Henry Flipper, bro. You don't think I'm making fun of this nigga every single day? Of course! I'm making fun of him any chance I get. So I know that when niggas run into Henry Flipper, once that nigga grew up, that's the type of nigga that slaps a nigga for saying anything, bro. God damn.
Something that had never been done before. Forcing racist America to respect black military excellence. This is the story about soldiers who turned the uniform into a weapon of resistance. A story about black men who became America's first park rangers. In 1866, Congress creates the first peacetime all-black army regiments, the 9th and 10th Cavalry, and the 24th and 25th Infantry. For black men fresh out of slavery, this was like hitting the lottery. Steady pay of $13 a month when most black folks were making pennies.
Excuse me, bro. Excuse me, dude. $13 a month? Oh my God, wow. What a time to be alive. Obviously, I know inflation. You guys have no sense of satire.
3 meals a day, a roof over your head, and something white America couldn't stand. Respect that came with the uniform. These weren't just jobs. They were paths to dignity in a country that had spent centuries denying black people basic humanity. The Army offered structure, purpose, and most importantly, weapons. Backed by federal authority, for the first time in American history, black men could walk tall, armed, and legally protected. But white America was not having it. White officers
You think you're gonna let a bunch of Negroes walk around with guns and uniforms and be like, they were literally deemed as savages and monkeys and gorillas less than 10 years before that, dude. And you think you're gonna let these people just walk around armed and at the same level as a white man? You crazy, bro.
Literally quit rather than command black troops. Some took demotions just to avoid leading these regiments.
That's what I'm
George
saying.
Armstrong Custer. Yeah, that Custer.
You got Custer, you got Flipper. Bro, I'm glad we became a little bit more creative with our names, because god damn.
Refused to command black soldiers, even though it cost him a promotion. The Army responded by sending these black regiments to the absolute worst, most dangerous, most isolated posts they could find. The Wild West frontier, where survival wasn't guaranteed and backup was days away. They got the worst equipment, leftover Civil War gear that was falling apart. Their horses were broken down. Their saddles barely fit. Commanding officers wrote angry letters about how these men were being.
Excuse me, why does this nigga got 3 arms? Look at this nigga. He's writing a letter whilst one of his eyes is looking at another letter. Look at this letter here. He's writing a letter whilst reading another letter that he's probably going to send out. What was going on back then, dude? Was there forms of radiation that we didn't know about? Excuse me?
Set up to fail with trash equipment. The message was clear. We'll give you this opportunity, but we'll make damn sure you fail at it. These soldiers had a choice. Prove the racists right by failing, or do something that would shake white America to its core. By the way, if you're enjoying the content,
We're going to shake the white man to the core. We're going to shake him. We're going to shake his soul.
Content so far, it would mean.
Shut up, man. Don't tell me to like and subscribe. I'll punch you in the face, you footy.
And I want each chosen excellence as their weapon. Here's a stat that probably made racist heads explode. Buffalo soldiers had lower desertion rates than white troops. Lower court-martial rates too. Despite being treated like dirt, they stayed disciplined and professional. They earned 18 medals of honor, the highest military honor in America, given to black men that society said.
Bro, as a white guy during this time, these niggas must be absolutely furious. Not only are these savages disciplined, wearing a uniform, weapons, and they took all the complete garbage you guys gave them, and they're still shitting on you. I'm sorry, Cletus, but I don't really like all these Negroes out here doing what we do. There's a lack of respect from the government, and the government ain't respecting me as a superior elite white man. I don't want the Negro on that horse. Get him off that horse now. Get him off.
It weren't even fully human. They protected mail routes through hostile territory when everyone else said it was impossible. They built roads, escorted settlers, and fought off raiders. They did jobs that white regiments failed at or refused to do.
Just like when the Mexicans come and work on the farms and take all the jobs away, and then all they can say is, they took her there. They took her there. That's all the white man can say. He says, oh, they're taking away the jobs from my little fetus over there. My little unborn fetus won't have a job because of all these Mexicans and blacks. Get him out of here. Nigga, who's going to get you your milk and fruits and berries, you footy?
Every victory, every mission completed, every life saved was a middle finger to everyone who said black men couldn't be real soldiers. Their excellence wasn't just professional, it was revolutionary. Every time they succeeded where others failed, they destroyed another piece of the racist mythology that justified their oppression. But their success started earning them something even more dangerous than respect. Native American tribes they fought against respected them so much, they gave them the name Buffalo Soldiers. In Plains Indian culture, the buffalo was sacred, powerful, nearly impossible to kill. That name was respect from warriors who knew courage when they saw it. Buffalo Soldiers became America's first park rangers at Yosemite, Sequoia, and what's now Kings Canyon National Park. They built trails, fought wildfires, stopped poachers, and protected the wilderness. They were stewarding.
These niggas out here fighting wildfires at a time before water tanks. So they're running around with buckets of water, nigga after nigga throwing buckets of water on the fires, bro. That's a major W, bro.
America's natural treasures before the National Park Service even existed. Captain Charles Young became the first black superintendent of a national park. So competent that even racist America couldn't deny his abilities. They weren't just soldiers anymore. They were symbols. Proof that black excellence couldn't be contained.
Bro, you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? And the thing that actually gets me the most cheesed, let's get into this monologue. The thing that gets me the most choked is that these people were literally slaves, and then they became free. And then they had the opportunity that they were given to be uniformed soldiers, okay? They get their $13 a month, they get their 3 meals and a place to sleep, and not one of them played the victim. Not one of them played victim to say we were slaves. They took the minuscule opportunity they had and they flourished. Flourished. Now, does that sound a little bit different than the average black American today who wants to talk about, oh my God, they're trying to stop us. Oh my God, we're so oppressed. Oh my, wah, 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 wah. You guys are absolutely idiots, bro. Look at what these niggas are doing. With the little opportunity they have, they flourish. And you, the rest of y'all today, want to cry about it, bro. Reparations. Reparations. Shut up, you footies.
Couldn't be hidden, couldn't be denied. But that's exactly what made them so dangerous to white supremacy. In 1906, Brownsville, Texas, black soldiers from the 25th Infantry are stationed at Fort Brown. The white townspeople hate having disciplined armed black men nearby. One night, shots are fired in town. One white man is killed, another wounded. Immediately, and I mean immediately, the white townspeople blamed the black soldiers. No investigation, no evidence, no trial. President Theodore Roosevelt, the same guy who supposedly believed in American values, dishonorably discharged 167 black soldiers overnight, without a trial, without evidence, without basic justice. 100.
They just needed any opportunity to dismantle what they had started, because the crazy thing is, in their minds, they didn't believe that these guys would become so good. So the slightest thing that they could use to dismantle them, this is exactly what they did. Because once again, they're becoming too strong, bro. They're becoming too strong.
67 men, some with 20 years of service, some with medals for bravery, all destroyed by presidential racism with the stroke of a pen. The message was crystal clear. It didn't matter how well you served, how bravely you fought, or how loyal you were. In racist America, you were still a black man first, and that made you guilty until proven innocent. If the system would betray even its most loyal servants, black communities had to find new ways to fight back. Enter Charles Young, a man so competent that racist America had to conspire to stop him. Young was only the third black graduate of West Point, and from day one, he was marked as dangerous, not because he was violent, but because he was brilliant. Young served with distinction everywhere they sent him. He was a natural leader, spoke multiple languages, and had a mind for strategy that impressed even his racist colleagues. He advocated for his black troops, fought for better conditions, and refused to bow down to white supremacist expectations. When black soldiers had a problem, they had an advocate. When the military tried to hide their achievements, Young made sure they got recognition. He represented something terrifying to white supremacy. A black man who couldn't be intimidated, couldn't be bought, and couldn't be ignored. But when World War I started, Young was about to cross a line that white America would never allow. Charles Young was in line to become the highest-ranking black officer in American history, potentially commanding white troops. And white America lost its absolute mind. They forced him into retirement under fake medical claims, said he had high blood pressure and couldn't serve. You know what Young did? He rode his horse 500 miles from Ohio to Washington, D.C. to prove he was physically fit. 500 miles on
horseback, bro. On horseback. And the majority of y'all won't even walk down the block to grab your EBTs, bro. Listen, I'm not hating against my fellow black brothers and sisters. I'm just saying that for some of y'all like to just yap and do nothing at all and sit on your cozy couches. Well, most of these people were living in a time where there's no electricity, and yet they're out here completely dominating the game, okay?
Horseback at age 55, just to call
victimhood is bullshit. Stop it.
Out their obvious lie. This wasn't about his health. This was about making sure no black man ever got too much power in the American military. Young had become too competent, too respected, too dangerous to white supremacy. They would rather weaken their own military than let a black man command white soldiers. Young's dramatic protest became something bigger than one man's career. Young's 500-mile horseback ride became a symbol of resistance that echoed across black America. The black press covered it extensively. The NAACP rallied support. Black communities across the country saw what was happening. If they could do this to Charles Young, a West Point graduate with an impeccable record, they could do it to anyone. Buffalo soldiers weren't just individual soldiers anymore. They had become symbols of black pride and possibility. When they rode into a town, black folks saw what they could become: disciplined, respected, armed, and unafraid. And white racists saw their worst nightmare: black men with power.
And today we don't have examples of that. How many people can you say in terms of in black media and culture that you can turn around and say, this person is a role model for our current society? How many of those people exist, bro? Very few of them. And why do you think? Because it's on purpose. Because events and things like this is when the white man realizes, if you let these Negroes come together, they're actually pretty strong, right? If they divide us and they feed us goy slop and they keep us in project buildings, having to suffer under duress and stress, we're not able to use our minds to become better beings, okay? If they keep us divided and fighting over Jordans, then what can we really become? We become whatever they want us to. I'm just saying, guys.
Or who couldn't be lynched or intimidated. There are records of black communities writing to the War Department, begging for Buffalo soldiers to be stationed nearby, because they knew these men would protect them when no one else would. But the military had other plans for these soldiers, plans that would test their moral compass. The same government that betrayed Buffalo soldiers at home sent them to enforce American imperialism abroad. In the Philippines, they fought to suppress Filipino independence fighters. Against native tribes, they enforced the government's westward expansion that displaced indigenous peoples from their ancestral lands. Buffalo Soldiers found themselves in the impossible position of oppressing other oppressed peoples. It's a harsh reality of how systems of power work. They'll use one marginalized group to control another. These men, who knew oppression intimately, were being used as tools of someone else's oppression. But here's what's remarkable. Some Buffalo Soldiers recognize this contradiction. In the Philippines, more black soldiers deserted to join Filipino rebels than from any other American units. They understood oppression when they saw it, because all lived it every day. Even when used as tools of empire, some chose resistance over complicity. Despite the betrayals, the contradictions, and the systematic racism, Buffalo Soldiers carved out space for black excellence inside a system designed to destroy them. Every promotion, every medal, every act of courage was a crack in the wall of white supremacy. They proved that excellence could be a form of resistance. They showed that dignity couldn't be taken away, only given up. They demonstrated that armed, disciplined black men were not a threat to democracy, not were democracy's greatest defenders. These men didn't just wear the uniform. They redefined what it meant to be an American soldier. They served the country that hated them and fought enemies foreign and domestic, including the racism within their own rank.
Exactly. So when it comes down to it, guys, take whatever opportunity you can to excel. For the longest time, bro, people of color have been diminished to be inferior to people, but it's not about being greater or better than anybody. That's stupid. The only person that's better than us is God himself, okay? If somebody else is another human being, then we're all on the same level. The only thing that we all are all the same, okay? Don't let anybody ever try to diminish what you're able and capable of doing. And don't let your current circumstances be of that either. Look to anybody that can be of a role model or some sort of inspiration to being able to escape your current situation and trying to excel. We should all be looking to excel. We should not sit there and accept any sort of BS that comes our way. Because most BS is a controlling narrative, and it's there by design to keep whoever it might be inferior, okay? You guys. Sick. Feel ill by this video. Because, man, I don't like seeing, especially like my fellow brothers and sisters in situations where, you know what I mean? They're clearly it's controlled opposition, bro. It's sick. It doesn't make any sense. It's like, why? Why is this a situation for them? Why is this what they have to live through? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we got 4 videos left. All right, guys, 1 second. We'll get into this video.
What's up, bro?
Oh, shit, what the fuck?
What's up, man? Where you calling from?
Is this you for real from Pitt?
Bro,
yeah, it's me, man.
Come on.
I'm doing good.
Yeah, just a little awkward, you know.
It's all good. Where you calling from?
California.
Okay. What you? Can you stand up real quick? Yeah, step back from the camera. Step back from the camp.
Bro.
All right. Sit on.
You know, the crazy thing is that this man's already derobing, which is why I'm always like, bro, Fit X Fearless, he's literally getting other people to derobe in front of him, bro, which is just crazy, bro.
Sit on the bed. Is that the bed?
Excuse me?
No, don't get on your knees. Don't get on your knees, bro. No.
Boss, bro. Oh my God.
Sit on the chair. Sit on the chair and just step back. Sit on the chair. The chair. There you go. Just sit right there. Cool. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. A deep breath. All right. What's going on with your life, bro? How can I help?
Maybe looks acting. Looks nasty.
What's going on? Why do you seem so flustered? Are you okay?
I'm just super awkward.
Why are you super awkward? What's going on?
I don't know. Just.
I could tell you already why you're awkward, my nigga. You got your toy soldier collection in the background. What does this nigga have in the background? Those Bionicles? Come on, man. Huh? Keep the toys away. Keep the toys in the garage. I don't mind people having hobbies. I like to build model toys and things like that. At least I did when I was a kid. But keep that shit in the garage, okay? When a baddie comes over, she doesn't... Keep 2. 3 maximum. That's the Triforce. Keep 3 of your favorite model figures in the room, but that's it. Keep the rest in the garage. In the shed even. God damn, nigga.
Maybe you can rate my physique.
I got you, but I'm more concerned about your mannerisms and your behavior right now. It's kind of scaring me a little bit. Like, what's going? Like, sit up straight. Sit up straight. Huh? You don't get out a lot. What do you do for work? What do you do for work? Huh?
Right now, I don't got no work, man. I ain't got no work right now, man.
Who are you living with? Your parents?
Yeah.
Why? You're 31 years old.
I know.
Why are you living with your parents? Well, why aren't you working?
Because, man, I just been struggling to make I got fired, man. I got fired, but
you got fired. Why did you get fired?
I can only imagine what this guy got fired for. Oh my goodness. Let's sit down and let's get ready for this.
All right, what happened?
Because I was stupid at my job and I caught problems with this one person.
What?
Wait. Sit close to the camera.
Yeah.
The quality is getting moved.
Huh?
Yeah. You stay right there. I don't want to see your hands move.
Damn, I look
like shit. Yeah, your camera is being pixelated. Relax, man. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Fix your Wi-Fi is fucked up or something. I don't know what's going on. Everybody's complaining about your quality.
You there?
Yeah, we're
here.
here.
But your Wi-Fi
nigga.
quality is still pretty bad.
You got fired for what?
I can hear you now.
That's
Okay,
okay.
sit back.
It's not a Verizon commercial, nigga.
All right. Your Wi-Fi quality is still, I don't know what's going on. Are you on your phone or your computer?
No, it's just a little webcam.
Okay. It's just the webcam. All right.
Jesus.
But the Wi-Fi keeps being, so okay, what did you do at your job?
Just basically kind of, I thought I was, I don't know, I had problems with this one person and I was like being stupid and I was like, I thought like, I was gonna like try to act all tough and like kind of like, I don't know, I thought I was gonna step up to him, but I was being stupid. So I just got in trouble and shit.
So you tried to beat up somebody from your job and then they fired you?
But like, it wasn't gonna go nowhere because like, the dude was bigger than me anyway, so it was just.
What, was he bullying you? Was he bullying you?
It was a stupid thing.
Huh?
It was a stupid thing. It's because like I was having ego problems, so I was just kind of like I thought he was. I was like jealous of him because I thought he was like cooler than me. So and like,
nigga, what? What are you talking about, man?
I don't know. I just thought he was like everyone liked him better than me because like I have like a really fragile ego.
So everybody liked him better than you. So you got jealous of that?
So the nigga said, yo, they like you better than me, dog? Pff, that's it. That's it. I'm about to show everybody that this nigga's a foodie, bro. Oh.
I guess like I was super insecure, you know, just because I thought I was like the shit.
So what was the argument about?
I swear on my life, this guy is about to say it had something to do with a girl, bro. I already know where this is going. I already know. A guy like him, he doesn't just act up. He doesn't just act up, bro. People don't just act up, okay? The heart of this problem has to do with the girl. I'm putting my bingo card on it, bro. Let's go.
He was better than you. He had more charisma.
He got like so much of a more relaxed demeanor, and like I was just kind of like, I was just like jealous because he had like this sort of vibe where like everyone knew that he was like the guy, and he was like,
you wanted to be that.
Yeah, and I was just like, damn, like this fool's like, he's just like beating me and everything, and like, just stupid.
Okay, so you got fired because the chat at work made you insecure.
Yeah,
you lost your job anyways.
Then I just kind of like fucked up my own life. Yeah.
What were you working at? What were you doing?
I was just washing dishes, man.
Come on.
God damn, nigga. How'd you, what? Keep your head down and wash the dishes, bro. How do you get fired from that? Because you're concerned about a Chad that's getting all the poom poom at work, bro. Because that's it. It doesn't matter if he's liked. Anybody at work could be liked. You could be a brown noser and be liked at work, bro. We still haven't gotten to the root of the problem. The reason why he's mad is because the Chad probably started pumping his shorty that he liked, dude. The shorty that he was invisible to, she started pumping her, bro. And then the man's got all ego shook, and that's why he got fired from work. Because how do you get fired from washing dishes? I'm telling you, bro, he has to reveal the truth. That the Chad was pumping his shorty, bro.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
So what the fuck have you been doing all your life that you only washing dishes at 31? Why haven't you learned anything to be able to fucking create a future for yourself?
Well, yeah, man. I'm kind of lazy and like I'm into like creating things. Like I used to be like kind of like into like painting and stuff, but now I'm like more into like 3D software, like computer technology for like.
Bro, you can make a bag doing that, bro. This man's probably gooning all day, bro. What a gooner. What a loser.
I guess like video game kind of artwork type stuff. So like I used to like draw a lot. So now I just kind of like be making like 3D models.
Okay, but you need some money. 3D model my ass. You need a 3D model into a fucking job.
Bro,
Like
it's like if I could 3D model myself some money, man, I would do that. But bro,
but okay, if you have interest in things like that, see what jobs you can get that are entry level jobs that you can be more creative in.
Yeah.
Why don't you go look at or see what skills you need to learn or certificates you need to acquire so you can work with models, you can work with computer stuff that you enjoy doing.
Yeah, I appreciate you talking to me, by the way.
What's going on with women? What's going on with women, bro? What the hell's going on?
Bro, man, it's bad, man. I ain't never got none, bro. I ain't never got shit, bro. I ain't never got nothing.
You a virgin?
Yeah, bro. I ain't got nothing, bro.
Damn!
31? You're a 31-year-old virgin.
I know, dog.
All right, take the glasses off. We need a second, bro.
Oh God! You know what's crazy though? You know what's crazy? This is not that crazy. This is not that crazy. Seeing the current dating market and the hypergamy, this is not that crazy. Okay, I got excited for no reason. Pause. I'm just saying. The way this guy's all twitchy, hey, makes sense, bro.
We need to take the glasses off. Take the glasses off. Take the glasses off.
Yeah.
Pause.
Take the glasses.
Pause.
Take the glasses. Take the glasses. Okay. We need to work on your confidence. Your confidence
Stop
is
wearing
shot.
glasses.
All right.
Bro.
You
stop it.
Your mannerisms are off. All right. It's because you haven't found yourself as a man. Put the glasses back on. Put the glasses back on. Okay. Listen. You're 31 years old, but your life is not over. You got to start. You got to wake the fuck up. Do you go to the gym?
I used to.
He doesn't.
Why did you stop?
Well, because kind of like got broke, man.
Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to start applying for jobs every day till you get something. I don't give a fuck if you got to work at Burger King. All right? Get some money coming in so you can afford to go to the gym. I need you to be going to the gym 4 days a week. That's going to help your confidence tremendously.
Bro, that's not going to help him, bro. He's socially awkward. The gym isn't going to help. Before he gets physically strong, he needs to get mentally strong. He needs to get himself involved in social groups and other interactions that will increase his social ability, because his social ability is zero. He needs to be comfortable in social situations. Now, of course, you can have anxiety. I have anxiety. I personally do not like being in social interactions, but I'm allowed to say that because I've spent a lot of time being in social situations where I've been able to have a good social ability. My social skills are very good. I have good charisma. I can speak to people. I can speak to a group of people. I don't have that fear. I'm very good amongst people, but I don't like being around people. You know what I mean? Whereas this guy doesn't really have a choice of the matter. He needs to get himself involved in clubs and different things that he will be able to express himself and speak. Because right now, this guy is, oh my God, bro. This guy needs Jesus.
Yeah. And then I want you to start looking for ways you can get into the avenues that you already enjoy, like modeling, like the computer model, like the business stuff, like the computer stuff. But you got to start somewhere. Who are you living with, your mom or your dad, or both?
Both, yeah.
They're not doing you. They're doing you a disservice, bro. They're letting you stay at home. You're 31 years old. You're a virgin. You're not happy, and you're just sitting there, just rotting. Like you got to wake the fuck
Absolutely
up.
disgusting.
Yeah, that's what I try to like at least do like exercise here and there. You know.
No. Bullshit. Step number 1: get a job. I don't give a fuck if you got to walk. What city you in?
I don't feel too comfortable saying that kind of stuff on the internet.
Okay. All right. This guy is upsetting me, bro. He's making me angry. Actually, I'm getting choked. I'm sitting here, I'm looking at this nigga, I'm like, bro, you're making me angry. Like, I feel like I want to punch you, bro. Yeah, it's razzing. It's like the niggas at work, bro. It's like, they're gonna razz you, bro. And I'm like, okay, sure. I don't know how to drive. I need to be cautious, man. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with being cautious. Niggas at work today try to razz me about, what's it called? about my driving ability, and it's like, dude, I want to be careful. I don't want to break things here, so I'm a little bit cautious. I don't want to break your guys' whip, you know? It's like, I'm a nice person. I don't like to destroy things. I like to make sure that, hey, if people are giving me an opportunity, then I'm going to make sure that I can perform at the highest ability. Anyway, I'm ranting about something that is completely off topic and has nothing to do with your guys' interests. Let's jump into the next video. Yeah.
Just a few months ago, SD was a broke nobody, grown up in the rough council estate of Liverpool. Well now,
in the bits, bruv.
He's one of the most streamed rappers on the planet, touring the world, collaborating with Hollywood celebrities, and signing a record deal reportedly worth $30 million, the biggest ever for a UK artist.
Bomba clock! 30 million? Oh my god. That's crazy. But hold up. Let me educate you guys on what a record deal really is. A record deal is a loan from the labels. They say, this kid has this much hype. This is what your hype is worth. 30 million. You take this $30 million loan and you create your art with it. Okay? And then they recoup their 30 million. If you can't recoup their 30 million, you are indebted to the record label for life. So, SD Kid better hope that he can make $30 million for the labels. All right, let's go.
And most of you are probably asking, who even is SD Kid? Where did he come from? And how did he take over the internet overnight? SD Kid grew up in the city of Liverpool, part of Merseyside in the northwest of England. This is where he picked up his famously harsh accent known as Scouse, a distinctive dialect that comes from Liverpool's unique mix of Irish, Welsh and other cultural influences.
And a part of them rolling, and a part of the chord, and a part of the Roman. I'm bopping the horse like I'm chopping a Roman. Anyway, you see me, I'm Roman. Sorry. Sorry. That's my SD Kid impression.
Influences.
Why are you laughing for? What, Chris, why are you laughing for? Why are you laughing for? I'm being serious. I'm being serious. No, you see, I'm talking facts here. I don't do if, buts and maybe.
I'm taking serious. I'm taking serious. In the Scotch. I'm becoming a Scotch. I got me a Scotch. I'm taking serious. Sorry, it's almost like Irish meets like the British accent. It's interesting.
I do absolutes, and you know, like if your aunt had balls, she'd be your uncle, but she doesn't, so she's not. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
With SD himself claiming he's not British, he's a Scouser. Liverpool is also world famous for its music scene, being the birthplace of the Beatles, the best-selling band of all time, with over 600 million records sold worldwide. From what I can find, SD grew up in a rougher working-class background, living in a council estate with a single mother, something he's openly talked about on his Twitter. He's called himself a council house rat and wrote, did orders from a council estate in Liverpool, all built of scraps, mate. For those who don't know, a council estate is basically like government housing in the UK. Large blocks of
the bits, bruv, the projects in it, huh? You Scouser, you council rat in it, bruv. He's in the blocks. He's in them Romanian Eastern blocks, but not Romania, Britain tank in it, bruv. Let's go.
Homes or flats built by the local council to provide affordable living for working class families. Growing up in that environment often comes with its challenges, and SD has been open about how that shaped him. In one of his biggest songs, Phantom, he said, "I'm a scumbag, I was raised in Liverpool slums, lad. I was broke, no joke, but I spun back." And the truth is, he's not exaggerating. Liverpool has some of the toughest crime stats in the country. The city records around 140 crimes per 1,000 people each year, way above the national average. And violent crime alone made up over 25,000 incidents in 2023. Certain inner city areas of Liverpool rank among the most deprived in England, with gang violence, stabbings and drug crime being constant problems. Merseyside police have
excuse me. In an area like this, bro, the majority of people are not getting out of this. You're a product of your environment. Most people are just gonna jump into the gang life and they're lost forever. So shout out to SD Kid for being able to escape this situation and make something of himself, because rarely is that ever the case, dude. It's never a Disney story in the bits, bruv.
Even reported spikes in shootings linked to organized crime groups, and the region's drug crime rate is over 300.
First of all, how's that nigga gonna be shooting an automatic weapon in the convenience store wearing flip-flops, man? So much of that is just Dear God.
% higher than the national average. So when SD talks about being raised in Liverpool slums and coming up off scraps, he's reflecting a reality that a lot of kids in the city know too well, growing up surrounded by poverty, crime, and the pressure to find their way out. Or in his own words on Twitter, sometimes I hate where I'm from, but I'll always be proud. I love my city, I will never change. With him even suggesting in some tweets he may have trolled from his upbringing. Now, growing up, SD Kid didn't have internet until around 2016-2017, so to consume music videos, he would instead watch Channel 18, which during the 2010s was a Freeview channel, often showing a lot of chart music videos, countdowns, and pop culture shows. And if he wasn't doing that, he would sometimes go to his grandma's house, who did have internet. He said that music videos were how he remembered the music, which is one of the reasons he loves making videos so much. That obsession with visuals later became a core part of his identity, every song needing an image attached to it, as nearly every one of his early SoundCloud releases had a music video alongside it, with SD early in his career even shooting a couple music videos for one of his friends, Rico Ace. Growing up, SD was very into the mid-2010s SoundCloud era, Lil Peep, Lil Pump, Black Cray, and so on, with him even claiming he put his own mum onto Blade, and calling himself a Scouse Boy Rari in his number 9 freestyle. Him and Rico Ace even recreated his picture of Lil Peep and Lil Tracy at the exact same location.
Arizona, iced out boys. Yo, show them the Arizona.
Shawty, what's it?
I always said the #1 export that America has is culture, bro, and capitalistic marketing products, dude. The goy slop.
Now, even though he loved the American underground rappers, his biggest icons were the Beatles, claiming they're the greatest to ever do it and wishing he got to meet John Lennon, one of the singers. And to finish off this segment about his childhood, it seemed like SD was an avid gamer, often talking about GTA, Black Ops, Far Cry, and CSGO in his tweets. Now,
Yo, is it just me, or is GTA 4 with Nico Bellic the greatest GTA still? Fight me on it! Find me on it.
Onto his music career, on the 13th of May in 2024, SD would drop his first ever song on SoundCloud, a remix to Ray Shremmurd's Black Beatles, with a music video alongside it. It's quite different to how he sounds now, even though this was just a year ago, as he's rapping at a much slower and relaxed pace. Now, even though this is the first official drop as SD Kid on his official SoundCloud, from what I found on Reddit, he's been dropping music since 2023, under the name Jewel Spines. From my own research, Jewel Spines is just a name he used to go by, basically like an alter ego. Jewel Spines used to rap in an American accent though, with him even mentioning it on his song Mist. Young Scouts Kid make it sound like I'm from Texas. But of course, with SD blowing up because of his Scouse accent, he abandoned this. Some fans theorize that Jewel Spines isn't actually SD Kid and it is actually his brother, as someone tried to say in these DMs. However, there is overwhelming evidence that this is in fact not true. It's also now very hard to try find any of Jewel Spines' older music or videos because anything fans post on platforms like YouTube or SoundCloud gets taken down almost immediately.
With my life no more, I went and disappeared into a...
After SD started blowing up, it seems like him and his label tried to kill off Jewel Spines and hide any evidence of it. Interestingly, despite efforts to bury the Jewel Spines era, SD recently teased a possible revival, as 2 months ago in November he made a brand new Instagram post with the caption 1981 Jewel Spines Renaissance, with this weird video, with him even teasing on his Instagram story Jewel Spines album November Instrumental Ambience, then posting on his Twitter Instrumental Ambient Album, suggesting he hasn't fully abandoned that idea.
I guess when you can't get rid of the alter ego, I guess it kind of chirps up sometimes. Like Kanye with the car accident, and that's what caused him to be racist. Because after car accidents, racism looms in the mind, and it becomes extravagant later on as you get older. Just saying.
Identity. Maybe he's gonna make a comeback. I mean, it's not the first time we've seen an artist drop music under a different name. From the top of my head, I know xCephasx became a jazz artist, and Young Lean, he drops under Jonathan, or something like that, I can't remember exactly. One of my favorite songs that is actually on streaming platforms from Jewel Spines is him.
Similar to Mac Miller and Larry Fisher, alright? So these are similar sort of, landscapes of people having these alter egos. But it's because when you're making anything that's creative, people always want to just box you in as you're this person, you're this identity, you're that. And so they need alter egos to then be able to express themselves even further, dude. Because nobody wants to be boxed in, dude. That's lame.
Again, with Rico Ace, a very fun and catchy song. And for those who are into the SD Kid and Jewel Spines lore, on the song Altered, released in the December of 2023, we actually get to hear Jewel Spines and SD Kid on the same track, as he alternates between his two styles. His awful attempt at rapping in an American accent, then his natural Scouse style. And Jewel Spines is actually where he got the name SD Kid from. If you abbreviate Jewel Spines, you get DS, then flip that and you get SD, add Kid to the end, and you get SD Kid. Over the following months, SD would continue to drop singles on SoundCloud. Apathy, number 9 free.
So cryptic, dude. So cryptic.
Style and Gracias. Around this time, SD Kid only had around 2,000 monthly listeners, so he was still an absolute nobody, but it didn't stop him from performing his first ever show on the 12th of July in 2024.
You know what's crazy about all of this? That it shows that a lot of young kids aren't able to keep up with the idea of consistency. Just keeping up with it regardless of what the outcome is and knowing that it's going to be successful. A lot of young cats these days, they be making stuff, making art, whatever the case might be, and they just stop. If you never stop, then you didn't give up. Okay? Somebody who does whatever he can to make it happen. A lot of y'all would be like, oh, 2,000 monthly listeners? I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't perform. I'm not big enough. I need it to be packed. Well, work for it, bro. Like my homie once said, you got to work for groupies, bro. You got to deserve them.
And it would be actually around this time that things started picking up for him. Palaces with Rico Ace, Tapped In with Sinner, and Ferragamo were the 3 tracks that made him start gaining a lot of traction around his name. Not a big name yet, but gave him the small following he needed to carry on growing. Another single he dropped around this time was Bali featuring Rico Ace, which was highlighted in Pitchfork's The Ones column, where Alfonso Pierre described it as one of the year's standout tracks, and named SD Kid one of the year's breakout stars. But it wouldn't be until 2025 that things really took off for him. His first drop of that year was on the 6th of February, LV Sandals with Rico Ace and Fake Mink. This song was a massive hit, gaining immediate buzz. From what I can find, this is the first song SD Kid dropped with Wraith 9, and it is the first song Wraith 9 has ever produced that dropped publicly, at least from what I can find anyways. And I mean, the rest is history, right? In just 11 months, this song would garner almost 100 million streams, with Drake himself even bringing out Fake Mink out wireless to perform it in front of 50,000 people.
I don't know much about Fake Mink, but apparently he's just getting as much traction as SD Kid. Is that correct to say?
From what I personally remember around this time, this song took SD Kid to that 500k monthly listener mark, which he would sit at until the summer. Also, fun fact, Fake Mink and SD have actually been working since the summer of 2024, as during that time, Fake Mink would drop 2 collaborations with SD, Slurricane and Tropical Remix, with music videos for both of these. And it would also be around the start of 2025 that SD would sign to XV Records and Lizzie Records. From what I can find, Lizzie Records is owned by UK creative Sincere Lizzie, who is also the head of black music at Atlantic Records UK, with XV Records being owned by BAMS and I think Orcs Lua, with Lua being SD's current manager, who also runs the UK underground festival / concerts Orcs London. So I'm presuming XV is under Lizzie Records and they're under some joint venture or management deal, with other UK artists such as Femi Guerrero, Sinner, Rico Ace and Len also being signed to them. Anyways, eventually on the 30th of June, SD will drop his debut project, Rebel, 11 tracks with features from Rico Ace, Femi Guerrero and Fake Mink. The entire tape was produced executively by Wraith 9, whilst having additional help from CPPO and Numbers Beats. The majority of the project were the relentless rage sound SD is known for, from tracks such as Phantom, Four Roars and LV Sandals.
But the sounds on these, this is what I've been saying about the UK artist scene, bro. The music scene in the UK is literally flourishing in a way that it's never flourished before. Now more than ever, the UK is on top. They're beating everybody, dude. They are #1. The sounds, the grits, the textures in the music. It's like, it's reminiscent of when the Atlanta trap era came out and all those sounds in the Future and Young Thug and that sort of style. Now, I believe the torch is no longer in Atlanta. The music torch belongs to the UK. Fight me on it.
Was also having elements of jerk and cloud rap on Caliman and Mist. At the time though, this project barely gained any traction, and it wouldn't be until weeks later that it started taking off. Later in the summer, SD Kid would perform at Cloud Festival in Poland.
2, 1, 2, 3, go!
Where he would link up with Yeet, who would go on to post himself listening to SD Kid on his story, shouting him out at one of his concerts.
Okay.
and even his manager Lua putting out a tweet hinting at a collab. We know that Yeat's next album, A Dangerous Life, is dropping soon, and I wouldn't be surprised if SD is on it. It would then be right at the end of summer when SD Kid would probably start taking off. He was already starting to get a little bit of buzz on TikTok, but it was about to go to a whole different level. The hard-hitting beats, unique accent and catchy lines made him the perfect match for the TikTok algorithm, as it seemed like any video featuring his music was set to go viral. Whether it was white girls rapping along, or people making like football and movie edits, SD Kid was absolutely everywhere. Slowly but surely he became one of the hottest artists in the world. SD Kid currently holds the top spot for both the most streamed rap song and rap album daily on Spotify, Rebel with over 7.5 million streams daily, and Phantom itself having over 2 million streams daily. It's just absolutely absurd. Even when Yeat was blowing up in 2021, he was not getting numbers like this. Eventually, 5 months after its release, Rebel debuted at the 131st position on the Billboard 200, selling 10,000 units that week, with it eventually peaking at the 60th spot a couple weeks later. With this newfound fame, it would be time for SD Kid to stop performing in front of massive crowds. We would firstly get the Rebel UK and EU tour, with him then announcing a USA and Australia leg too. But good luck getting tickets, as there was online queues of over 12,000 people. He would also open up for Young Lean at the OVO Wembley Arena, a venue with a capacity of 12,000 people, and literally everyone knew the words.
Bro, this is the most insane, craziest come up I've ever seen for an artist, bro. Literally like this. Almost, you can almost go ahead and say, oh, he was planted, but I don't believe in industry plants, bro. Even if you plant somebody, if their music isn't hitting and resonating, it doesn't matter how much money you spend on it, bro. It's going to flop. So this young man, bro, shout out to coming out of the bits, making out of a terrible situation, and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, dude.
Now, if SD Kid's career couldn't get any crazier than it already was, well, a lot of fans started theorizing that SD and the Hollywood actor Timothée Chalamet were the exact same person. The theory didn't spread because it was believable, it spread because it was entertaining. The idea that a masked UK rapper and a Hollywood star were secretly the same person was too funny, too absurd, and too online to ignore. And the fans loved it. They got to work and started putting their photos side by side, comparing facial features and building timelines, genuinely trying to see if they're the same person. They even searched through Timothy's old movies, such as The King, and saw that he's had experience with British accents before.
I've only one to give, and it is the same one I give were we not standing on the brim of a battlefield. It is the same one I'd give were we to meet in the street by chance.
And Timothy himself added more fuel to the fire, as in an interview he avoided answering any questions regarding the conspiracies.
SD Kid, are you from, you know who SD Kid is, the rapper?
Your fans have lost their minds and they are saying that you are SD.
Is that true?
I got no comment on that.
Oh, come on.
No, I mean,
what?
Got no comment.
You've got the same eyes.
I got 2 words on that.
Go on. In your own time. 2 words.
2 words.
What's wrong with him? We've lost him. Someone, we need to reboot.
All will be revealed in due time.
Oh, stop it.
Wow, the word count's gone because of jet lag.
Well, as we all know, SD and Timothée Chalamet were going to break the internet together, as on the 19th of December, the American actor would remix SD's 4 Raws.
Pull pine that dirty. Give me 10 about 30. Still spit dirty. Still put work it. Let's go. After a birthday.
But even this didn't put the rumors to bed, as fans continued making jokes, such as featuring on your own song is nuts, and questioning why we haven't seen Timothy and SD Kid with his mask off in the same room together. Not sure if you noticed, but they actually didn't show his eyes at all in the video. I still think it's the same person. It was a really smart play for both of them. Timothy stayed silent on the rumors as he knew he could use the moment to promote his new movie, Marty Supreme, whilst SD Kid knew this would push his name right into the mainstream spotlight. Because this wasn't a co-sign from another rapper. This was one of the biggest actors on the planet, working with a UK artist who a couple months ago was a nobody, with the video on Twitter currently sitting at over 150 million views. Absolute insanity. And just a week after this insane moment, rumors started flying about that SD Kid had signed a $30 million deal with Capitol Records, breaking the record for a UK artist. Now, as insane as that sounds, just remember Lil Pump signed for around $30 million like 10 years ago. So with inflation and a way more established scene, I can see why he got that $30 million. And with how record deals work, well, they're not actually giving him $30 million before the label makes double that themselves. If you didn't know, majority of record deals, they give you an upfront payment for each album.
Yes, it's a loan, guys. I explained that at the very start of the video, okay? You foodies. How are we doing on time? Yo, you guys still rocking with me on today's stream, man? Come on. We're burning out a little bit, but I'm still here. It's 5 o'clock. Inside the gooning empire or government-sponsored influencers? 1.4K. It's an outlier. 6.2% engagement. This has 4.4% engagement. 105 views per hour. All of it is fugazi. It all looks fugazi to me. All right, guys. I'm going to end the stream today at like that. I got to get some rest. It's 5 o'clock, just in case my siblings and stuff decide to come back home. Anyway, appreciate you guys tuning in on today's stream. I wasn't going to stream, but there's a bunch of stuff that was raising my cortisol, and I said, you know what? I don't want to do things for other people. I just want to do things for myself and for the public. So shout out to you guys for getting me at my best. I'll see you guys on Monday or maybe Saturday and Sunday, depending on if I can have the space, the room empty to stream. Otherwise, I will be uploading today's content chopped up for the weekend and a bunch of shorts. So yeah, stay tuned with me, you guys. Yeah, make sure you go hit me up on Twitch if you're not already following me on Twitch. Twitch.tv/xCephasx. Twitter, xCephasx. Instagram, xCephasx. That's xCephasx. This plug was completely stupid. I don't know why I did it. Anyway, I will see you later. You footy foodo. You footy.